Hello, everyone. Back again. It's Friday, June 11th, Victor's birthday, the Viper. Speaking and sharing truth. I just wanted to jump back on and share some news stories that our friends have been sharing. This is going to be your truth in 20 or less, your daily dose. There's lots going on. If you want to keep up with the news, you can go to our website, inTruthNews.com. or the gatewaypundit.com or the epictimes.com. You can subscribe to many of the conservative channels of the people that are speaking truth out there and support them. Share it. Everybody's got to do their part. On this video, please like, share, subscribe. And we also have a Rumble now, so you can find us on Rumble and inTruthNews. Or you can register for our newsletter on inTruthNews.com so that you can make sure, just in case, because I'm noticing that a lot of the people that we follow are getting knocked off of this platform. And so, you know, as a precaution, we create the other ones. And we just got to start sharing those things so that people can be aware of them. Anyways, I just want to jump in here. The first article I want to share with you is from the Gateway Pundit, and it was actually released last night. And it is titled, Breaking Freight Train of State Delegations Coming Friday, which today is Friday. So it says 9 states visited the state of Arizona today. In specific, the center that is currently doing the audit there. And the whole article is featured on the Gateway Pundit. We're actually going to also put a link to it on this video and also on our website, inTruthNews.com. And I would suggest that you read it because it's very interesting. It's enlightening. It's encouraging, all of the above, and perfect for a Friday treat. Okay, so apparently I fell off and I'm back. Not sure what happened, but I'm back. Okay, so anyways, let me share this. That was weird. I'm going to share our YouTube. In specific, we have created, if you go to our YouTube, you'll see that we created channels. And you can go on there, and if you want to read things about the state of Arizona or conservative news in general, or the border news, the border crisis, or Texas, anything like that, you can look it up that way. I also have an option for a watch party, which is what we like to share, things we like to share. So I'm going to go right into Out of Darkness.
So I was thinking,
I've been looking at mattresses online.
the ones that come in a box?
No, a sofa.
Everybody, welcome back to Out of the Darkness. I am Q. So you guys know how this goes. If you see me doing a truck video, you immediately know it's big news. So what Javon has uncovered is that the ballot printing companies consistently across the country, that the ballots that were going to predominantly red counties were printed differently than the ballots that were going to predominantly blue counties, which caused a larger number of ballots in those red counties to be adjudicated, and also in many cases caused them to be counted for Joey bribes. So this is huge. This is huge because Javon has said from the beginning that it was important to go to the paper, that it was all about the paper. Don't focus on the machines, focus on the paper. Because in many cases, the machines are simply hardware and they have to do what they are told. But it looks like the culprit is the actual paper. The barcodes on the bottom of the page were consistently different on the ballots, were consistently different in red counties versus blue counties. We're going to be following this, but it looks like that the companies that were responsible for printing these ballots better lawyer up, because it's about to get real. Let me know what you guys think about this. Do you think it was on purpose? Do you think it wasn't? Do you think there's something to it? Or do you think that it's just a waste of time? Make sure you comment.
So that is Out of the Darkness, and you could get a link to his stuff also on our page inTruthNews, or you can go to his YouTube. I featured some of his posts the other day, his show the other day. Anyways, I'm going to Ricotta Law, and this is entitled "Texas Will Build the Wall as Biden Ignores the Law."
Texas Governor Greg Abbott just promised to go ahead and build the border wall that Donald Trump started and Joe Biden ended. He is tired, very, very tired of Joe Biden's complete disrespect for border states and the rule of law in this country. And frankly, I think a lot of southern border states are in the same boat, and we'll see if they follow suit with Greg Abbott. This comes hot on the heels, as it were, of Kamala Harris and her uncomfortable interview with friendly CNN journalist Lester Holt, and where he asked her why she refused to go down to the border in Arizona. And her answers have been not only baffling, Republicans and, right-wing commentators around the globe, they're also baffling to her own administration and her own party. The border is a real issue, and by pretending it's not, they are avoiding taking action, and it's impacting the lives of Americans. So let's talk about what's going on in Texas. I'm Nick Rekieta of Rekieta Law, small law firm in central Minnesota. I'm a lawyer. I'm also a legal and political commentator on YouTube and on Odyssey. Wherever you're watching, hit that like button, hit subscribe, turn on your notifications. I don't want you to miss any of these videos. Okay, so what do we got here? This is from Fox News. As always, the link to this will be down in the description if you want to check it out. We're going to take a pretty good look at this article, but it'll be there if you want to click on it. So Governor Greg Abbott announces Texas will build the border wall amid Biden's willful and wanton disregard for laws. Abbott will also increase penalties for infractions such as trespassing. You gotta you got to remember that when you cross the border illegally, it's not like you're just walking onto some random land that nobody owns. Either the government owns it, the federal government owns it, the state government owns it, or a private citizen owns it. That's the reality of land in the United States. And so a lot of times these border crossings involve trespass. Sometimes those trespass implicate the safety of the landowner, or they can have damage to their property. So increasing these laws or the infractions and the penalties for the infractions, the penalties for these infractions is supposed to have some sort of deterrent effect, and only time will tell if that'll be effective. Texas Governor Greg Abbott announced his state has allocated $1 billion in its fiscal year budget toward border security, telling the Ingram Angle on Thursday he will use part of that money to resume the construction of the U.S.-Mexico border wall started by Donald Trump but hastily halted by President Biden. And the whole thing of building the wall is baffling. This wall has been approved by Congress. It has been passed into law, signed into law by a president. This law, this wall needs to be built under the law, and to have a president just come in and override the will of not only the American people, but also the Congress and the prior president that have made this into a lawful act requiring the building of a border wall. The fact that we have presidents who keep just stopping the construction is a little bit troubling, in my opinion. Like the border states clearly want a border wall. They clearly want it. They're dealing with the problem, and it's not only a humanitarian crisis, but it's also a state issue with enforcement, with budget, with protecting its citizens, protecting its officers and agents. These states are bearing the brunt of Washington, D.C. policy. And guess where there is no border wall necessary? Washington, D.C., right? They don't have that. They don't have those issues in Scranton or in Washington, right? Like, they don't have to deal with the reality of what the human toll of the border being so porous is. They don't have to deal with the murders, with the kidnappings, with the trafficking. They don't have to deal with any of that stuff, with the drugs. It's not impacting these states that are insulated from the border by the other states. That insulation has a cost to it, and those states are tired of paying it, frankly. Abbott says he had enough of the White House's willful disregard for the rule of law and for the well-being of Texans and Americans, especially those in places like Del Rio and other border towns. Quote, to make a fine point on it, we have to build a border wall, said Abbott. I've been down here talking to the people in the Rio Grande Valley, and the way they are being overrun is reprehensible. It's disastrous what the Biden administration has done. Abbott condemned Biden for ending the Remain in Mexico policy that Trump forged with Mexican President Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador, which staved off some of the influx of migrants as they were being instructed to file for asylum in Mexico before crossing into the United States. And then, quote, Trump began building the border wall, and now suddenly all of that disappeared. And as you highlighted, it has led to a dramatic increase in the number of people crossing the border. But it's not just unaccompanied minors. That's the news story, right? Oh, it's unaccompanied minors who are crossing the border, and the minors aren't being treated well by these states, and et cetera, et cetera. Even though, immigration policy is in a significant portion enforced by the federal government, who built the cages, Joe. It's people who are causing great damage and harm to the residents right here in Del Rio, up and down the entire border. It's not just unaccompanied minors. It's all kinds of people. And in some cases, some very bad people. And even when it's just normal, good, decent people crossing the border, trying to get a new life or whatever, they typically are employing the services of very bad people who cause those people lots of harm and cause harm to the communities in which they're operating. Under his state of emergency declaration, Abbott noted the Texas Department of Public Safety can increase penalties for crimes such as trespassing, on which police will elevate the number of arrests of illegal immigrants intruding into Texas land. Quote, we're going to take this very seriously. We're going to do everything possible to secure our border, including building a border wall, he said, added that he will share details on that endeavor later next week. And he went on to criticize Vice President Kamala Harris's ineffective tack toward border security, calling the administration's behavior willful and worse. Quote, it is purposeful, it's wanton disregard for the border laws, for the immigration laws, for the border communities, for candidly anybody in the United States of America. Quote, the Biden administration has abandoned the border. Any pretense of border security, any pretense of enforcing our immigration laws, they've laughed it off just the exact same way that Vice President laughed it off in her interview the other day. So it is a joke to the Biden administration. And this is the reality for Kamala Harris, for Joe Biden, for the Democrats in Washington, D.C. This is a laughing matter. It is. It's not reality for them. They're not dealing with the human costs, with the infrastructure costs, with the monetary costs that border states have to deal with. They don't have to have state funerals for agents killed. They don't have to clean up the trucks full of bodies that get dumped when a border crossing goes wrong. They don't have to deal with that. It's all abstract and tangential, and worse, as demonstrated by Kamala Harris. They don't even feel the need to go to the border to talk to the people who do have to deal with it. They're setting policy absent the context of the costs that these policies will have on the people who have to deal with them. They're doing it from their ivory towers. So it's good to see this. I think this is a great move for Texas. I think other border states should follow suit. Absolutely. Border walls have been proven to be effective. Walls are shockingly good at keeping people out of things. It's been this way throughout all of history. Are they perfect? No, there aren't perfect systems. But do they mitigate? Do they mitigate what's going on? Do they reduce the flow, the influx?
Okay, so you get the picture on that. You know, he's we actually watch a lot of what he has to say because he's an attorney and he understands the law behind a lot of this stuff that's going on. You know, we all got to start sharing truth. I have this one who is actually from Florida, and I'm going to play it. It's from Dr. Steve Turley, and we watch a lot of him too as well.
My name is Keisha King. I'm a mom of two, one who's in the Duval County Public School System and one in private school thanks to school choice. I'm also a member of Moms for Liberty, representing thousands of parents. Just coming off of May 31st, marking the 100 years of the Tulsa riots, it is sad that we are even contemplating something like critical race theory, where children will be separated by their skin color and deemed permanently oppressors or oppressed in 2021. That is not teaching the truth, unless you believe that whites are better than blacks. I have personally heard teachers teaching CRT, and we have had an assembly shut down because Duval County Public School System consultant thought it would be a great idea to separate students by race. This is unacceptable. CRT is not racial sensitivity or simply teaching unfavorable American history or teaching Jim Crow history. CRT is deeper and more dangerous than that. CRT and its outworking today is a teaching that there is a hierarchy in society where white, male, heterosexual, able-bodied people are deemed the oppressor, and anyone else outside of that status is oppressed. That's why we see corporations like Coca-Cola asking their employees to be less white, which is ridiculous. I don't know about you, but telling my child or any child that they are in a permanent oppressed status in America because they are black is racist, and saying that white people are automatically above me, my children, or any child is racist as well. This is not something that we can stand for in our country. And don't take it from me, look at the writers of these types of publications. Our ancestors, white, black, and others, hung, bled, and died right alongside each other to push America towards that more perfect union. If this continues, we will look back and be responsible for the dismantling of the greatest country in the world by reverting to teaching hate and that race is a determining factor on where your destiny lies. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Wow. That was great. And that's what we need. That's what God wants. He wants us all to speak. He wants us all to say what is going on. Share it. Speak the truth. Stand up, even against the people who come against you. Because if God be for you, then who cares who comes against you? I want God for us. Not our friends or our former friends or relatives that may not agree with us or anything like that. It's more important to us to be walking in truth, you know, and then come Judgment Day, our knees don't have to be knocking together in fear of what's going to happen, because we're actually trying to discern God's word, just discern the situation of what's going on in our nation and in the world. We're not just going by what somebody spoon feeds us. That's not how God created us to be. He created us to have our own thoughts, our own feelings. And of course, sometimes we choose to do the wrong thing, but that's because he gave us free will as well. But don't think for 1 minute that God is not in control, because he is very much in control of everything that's gone on this past year and a half. And every lie will be revealed. So anyways, happy Friday. Shabbat Shalom. I'll see you soon.